Hicks. She's in the key battleground state of Iowa, where, officials say they're anticipating a record number of voters this year. Mitti, what's going on out there?
Hey there, Daytona. Well, that's right. State leaders are expecting more than half of registered voters to cast their ballots early this year as more people choose to stay home during the pandemic. Expecting a record-breaking turnout among early voters.
The trends we're seeing is we'll see 60% or more of our voters voting early, whether it's at the polling site early or at the through absentee. So the game is afoot.
More people voting early has caused a ripple effect on how election leaders are preparing.
All elections are all about the logistics. So what was most different about this year is everything is happening sooner in the cycle.
Martin says the county has hired poll workers earlier than previous years to handle the number of early voters and to help enforce health and safety measures.
It was easy. There's a path that you follow, social distancing, mask. They give you a pen to use to touch the thing, so there's nothing to stress about.
Early voting will continue until November 3rd. Election officials say those waiting to cast their ballots at the last minute should expect longer lines as poll workers try to enforce CDC guidelines, including face coverings and social distancing.
Now, Mitti, you're out there in Des Moines, Iowa. What are you seeing personally with all of the lines?
Well, obviously today is the first day of early voting, so we saw long lines earlier this morning, and poll workers say they are expecting that to continue until the general election.
Now, obviously, wearing your mask is kind of a topic of discussion right now. Do you see a lot of people out there wearing their masks, or are they not?
Yeah, well, a lot of people are wearing those masks, and if you remember, as I pointed out in that package, the poll workers are going to be working to enforce safety measures, including social distancing, and some things that I've seen on the ground were these markers to make sure that people are staying within 6 feet apart. They also hired new poll workers this year, and even something what they're calling greeters to help people keep that distance and make sure that people are wearing their masks this year.
And as far as just excitement goes, I mean, this is a huge election that is quickly approaching. So what's kind of the tone from the voters that you're seeing? Are they excited to be out there?
Well, obviously people are excited. It's been a long few months since this pandemic hit, so people are having some sort of social interaction, so people are excited to be out to vote as well. So you see a lot of enthusiasm. Obviously within 300 feet you can't really campaign for your candidate of choice, but it's a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of neighbors just really pushing people to get out and come out and vote.
Alrighty, thank you so much. That was Fox's Mitti Hicks out there in Des Moines, Iowa, as early voting kicks off. Thank you so much, Mitti. Alrighty, we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to go back to those remarks from Vice President Mike Pence, who was heading out to Utah as that vice presidential debate quickly approaches this week. He's talking about how he's excited for voting to kick off as well. Let's tune in.
The president told me